Desert biome. It can be hot and dry, or cold and frosty like this. The desert can be found in many places, such as North America, South America, Australia, Africa, and Antarctica. And there are 4 types, such as the hot and dry, the semi-arid, the coastal, and the cold. You usually think of hot and dry when desert is spoken or written somewhere. But, as shown here, that can't always be the case. The climate of the hot desert is usually so hot that the rain evaporates before it can even hit the ground. The climate of the semi-arid desert is milder, with 69 to 80 degrees as the usual temperature. It doesn't usually go above 100, so it usually feels pretty nice. Summers are moderately long and dry, but the winters can bring a small rainfall. The long warm summer in the coastal desert has 55 to 75 degrees as the temperature. The winter is slightly colder at 41. The rainfall is more common in this area, and it gets 8 to 13 centimeters in many areas. The cold desert has temperatures of 28 to 39 degrees, and the summers are short, moist, and slightly warm. The winters receive quite a bit of snow, and the summers can even get some rain. Now it's time for the abiotic factors in all of the deserts. The abiotic factors in the hot desert are sand, which acts as the soil, water, but there's not a lot of that, temperature, which is hot, sunlight, which helps the plants and flowers grow, and air to breathe. The abiotic factors for the semi-arid desert are air, sunlight, water, temperature, and sand. The ones in the coastal desert are air, sunlight, sand, water, and temperature, which are exactly the same as the last ones. The cold desert abiotic factors are a little bit different because there's water or snow, sunlight, and temperature. And now coming up, the plants of the deserts and their adaptations. The hot desert has many plants like trees, flowers, and cacti. They have all adapted in different ways, but still survive basically the same. The cactus did it by storing water inside its body and grew spines to protect it. The roots expand really far to collect the water that seeps into the ground from rain. Because of this adaptation, cacti are called xerophytes because they alter themselves to store water. The trees are also a form of xerophytes because they adapted themselves to the lack of water like the cacti. They survive in the desert that most suits them. The flowers are special and different from the cacti and trees. They could be perennials, which live for several years, or annuals, which only live for a season. The annuals wait until the heavy rainfall, then spring up quickly and deposit their seeds for reproduction. Seeds are heat and drought resistant, which are perfect for lying around in the warm sand, waiting for the next rainfall. The semi-arid desert plants are a little different. The leaves of some plants are glossier to reflect more sunlight and often have an unfavorable taste. The leaves of many other plants have spines, as for protection in a dangerous environment. The flowers are mainly annuals, dying during dry periods and relying on the seeds they spread to grow during the next rain to preserve the species. The trees can survive in many ways because they could be like succulents, cacti, and have shallow roots that reach far to get water and store it in their leaves or roots. Or they could have small leaves that help them cool down in the heat of the day because they can evaporate water faster to keep cool. Or they aren't really adapted and just have really long roots that stay in the water table all the time. Many bushes live in the coastal desert and have adapted accordingly. One is the buckwheat bush, and it's a perennial. The rainfall amount is perfect growing conditions because it needs 8 to 18 centimeters. The chrysoanthelus bush is a perennial like the buckwheat. It can protect itself by growing inside other types of bushes. And the black sage is another of many. It can grow in a variety of soils, and it likes the coastal desert because it prefers dry soil that drains well. There are less plants in the cold desert than others, but even algae can live there. Flowers like the pink phlox can survive in the cold desert. They have adapted to drought and harsh winds like what might be in a cold winter. There are many different species of this flower, and all can exist there. Many deciduous plants can also live here. Annual trees leave their seeds and then die, but many perennials can do the same thing. Some can actually overwinter the snowpack and stay protected and insulated. Algae can grow, but not many plants in a cold desert grow in the winters. Many grow in the summers. And here we have the animals and their adaptations. The hot desert has many different animals. Reptiles and amphibians have many different adaptations that allow them to live in the desert. They may only come out in favorable seasons or times of day, or they could even use the environment to regulate their body temperatures. They could really be well adapted to the surfaces around them. The kangaroo rat is nearly perfectly suited for life in the desert because it has many useful adaptations to help. The hind legs make it jump 9 feet at once, escaping from predators in one jump. It can hear a silent owl approaching and gets all of the water from their diet. The dik-dik is a type of antelope that lives in the desert. It can eat many high-quality plant materials which are easy to ferment and digest. They also contain fat and protein. They can make many tricks to conserving water as well because their diet doesn't have much of it. The semi-arid desert also has many animals. The burrowing owl can live there as well as in the hot, but has to adapt about the same. The brown feathers make it harder for them to be seen against the sand. If an intruder gets into the den, the young owls can hiss like snakes and sometimes scare them away. They can also run super fast because of long, thin legs. Snakes are enemies of the burrowing owls and have a 5 mm deep pit that senses warm-blooded prey. They are also cold-blooded and helps them cool down. The mountain lion can even live in a desert and does. It has a large hunting range which provides great versatility. They choose homes in caves and cliffs sheltered from the weather. It has a very diverse diet and what allows the lion to live in the desert. There are animals in the coastal desert that aren't in the other deserts, so they are somewhat unique. A toad can burrow itself into the sand and hibernate until the heavy rains when it will become active again. They try to reproduce as soon as they wake up. Coyotes also live here and have adapted accordingly. The desert doesn't have too many organisms, and the coyote can adjust its hunting style to whatever's near. They could prey on insects or kangaroo rats. Many birds live in the coastal desert, and one is the great horned owl. It is on the top of the food chain with the eagles and can hunt many things. Their ears are so sensitive that they can hear a mouse squeak up to 900 feet away. They even begin raising their family in the dead of winter to further protect the offspring. Cold desert animals are even more unique because they can endure a grueling winter that's very, very cold. Jackrabbits live in nearly every type of desert but have special adaptations for this one. They can change their fur color to blend in with the snow. Almost all of the animals in the cold desert are burrowers, but the jackrabbit doesn't burrow. Penguins live in cold deserts too, but not around all the other animals. They have blubber under their feathers to keep warm and have really high body temperatures to also keep warm. Deer can live in cold deserts but are usually only seen in the wintertime. They grow a thick coat to keep warm. After shedding, they migrate for the summer. And here are some fun facts you probably didn't know about the desert. Antarctica is the largest desert in the world. The original meaning of the word desert means an abandoned place. The desert takes up 1/3 of the Earth's surface. 20% of those deserts are covered in sand. The Sahara Desert spans 12 different countries. The Atacama Desert is the driest place in the world. Shallow salty lakes form temporarily every now and then. Large mineral deposits can be found. Mario Kart 64 has a track called Kalahari Desert, a reference to the Kalahari Desert in South Africa. This was made by Halivalu Tufai, Bailey Barham, Catherine Marino, and me, Jocelyn Luce.